How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to TheBlueShifting. Welcome back to Muv-Luv Monday, where we saw the fallout of the fight with the Bao Feng, and it went pretty well. And then we saw the attempt for a kind of pseudo date with Yuuya and Yui got interrupted by yeah, just interrupted. It was great. It was actually really entertaining. It was fun, but it was a long episode. So I don't think this one will be quite as long, but I'm guessing we're going to be setting the stage because my gut tells me that we're either going to fight the American team and then the Scarlet Twins, or we're going to fight the American team, but like the American team will be eliminated by the Scarlet Twins, which would be just shocking, which would be cool though. Like, I think like that would be a really cool twist to have in the game. But other than that, yeah, we're just gonna keep moving on, doing this blue flag stuff, and see kind of like how it all plays out, and you know where it's gonna lead, what's gonna happen at the end. I'm not really sure. A lot of it's about the political intrigue going on in the backdrop, so I don't know if we're gonna see much about it till the end. So other than that, we're just gonna kind of listen in and see if we can kind of catch on to what's about to happen. So anyway, sit back, relax, and let's enjoy this together. Hopefully you're excited, because I am. So let's get started. How is he going?
ご勘弁を。ここではこのぐらいの方が逆に動きやすいのです。
そうではない。この基地全体に漂う空気の話だ。お前たちはよくやっている。
These, like, man and woman's voice. Is this like the UN director and that girl secretary of his? I feel like I heard the voices at least.
ありがとうございます。コーヒーでいいですか？それともアルコールを？
酒はやらない。
了解です。
スケジュールはどうだ？遅れが出始めていると聞くが。
申し訳ありません。突発的な大規模演習や、そこへの米軍派遣など、いろいろありまして。大事をとって一時的に搬入を止めました。遅れは挽回可能な範囲に留めています。
Okay, so... Oh, right. Is this the German and European, like, interest block that we were hearing about before? Maybe this is who they are?
そうか。民間人がそろそろ動き始める頃だ。奴らに遅れは取るな。
は。マスターの到着までには帳尻を合わせます。
Master?
どうぞ。インスタントですが。
Who's Master?
ほう。インスタントではあっても合成品ではないな。味も悪くない。こんな高級品が街に出回っているのか。
南北アメリカ大陸では、誰もベータと戦争なんかしていないんです。ご存知ありま。
Oh, interesting.
この大陸の連中にも教えてやろう。戦争の興奮と優越をな。
Okay. Oh no, I liked her. But maybe she's working with that German bloc. That would kind of make sense. Oh, man.
なんでそんなにステラばっかしいいカードが行くんだよ。あ
ら、そんなことないわよ。カードは平等でしょ。
Man is wolf to
みんな
man.
同じ条件で戦ってるんだし。
だってさ、ようやく月が回ってきたなって思えばステラはそれ以上だし、絶対になんかあるよ。
Well, she does seem like a master of sleight of hand, but she's also got, she's good at distracting people, it seems.
別に何もないわよ。
でもよ、ありえなくねえか？自滅したタリサはまだしも、俺もユーヤもヴィンセントもだぜ。ちょっとばかし怪しく思っちまうのもわからん話じゃないぜ。なあ。
Oh, yeah, what he said. I think he's distracted. I have no idea why someone would cheat at blackjack when playing just to kill. Oh, there, it completed the chapter. I was like, why did it do that? Honestly, I don't even know why. Like, I swear I turned notifications off, but oh well. I have no idea why someone would cheat at blackjack when we're playing just to kill time, but still has been on one hell of a lucky streak. Oh well, some mysteries are better left unsolved.
あら、怪しくないわよ。数えただけだもの。
Oh, there you go.
嘘、冗談だろ。そんなこと本当にできんのかよ。
できるわよ。3デッキのカードを混ぜて使っているだけじゃないの。やろうと思えば誰でもできるでしょ。
Sure.
誰もやってなかったの？
We probably just can't hold on to the numbers in our heads, or at least unwilling to learn.
いや、 だってよ、普通するか？しねえよな。
つうか、覚えられねえってば。
Yeah, it's definitely cool when people can do it. Beyond my ability. Color me surprised. Never expected to have a pro gambler among us.
別に難しいことじゃないわよ。あなたたちだって普段はしてるじゃない？
Say what?
カードのカウンティングなんて物語の世界だけだろ。
Oh no, it's very real.
違うわよ、何言ってるの。ダリサだってそれを使って昨日は2機も落としたじゃないの。
え？私が？いつ？
話が結びつかないんだが。
この前の演習。弾幕で牽制されていた時、あのタイミングで飛び込んだのはどうして？相手が撃ってこないのを読んでいたからじゃないの？
Yeah, I mean, if that's true. Like, if she's able to, like, be able to be that observant, that's pretty impressive.
読んでたって。あれはカードと違って分かりやすいから。
その通りよ。分速で何発撃てるか把握した上で、36ミリがそれまでに何秒発射されていたか。そこから相手の残弾とか弾装効果のタイミングを推し量る行為は、ここにいる誰でも自然にやってることでしょ？
Yet further proof that I'd just die. I'd be so useless in a fight in a TSF. I'd just die.
それに比べれば、カードゲームで何が残っているのか把握するのは簡単じゃない？
そっか。そうだよな。私もミラージュ2000がマグチェンジする気配が見えたからいけると思って突っ込んだんだよな。
調子に乗って、その後は中波の判定受けたけどね。
Sounds like you, Teresa.
でしょ？そっちの方がよっぽど高度な技術だと思うけど。
言われてみりゃ、その通り。納得だ。
チェー。これじゃあ英士とカードすんのは分が悪いぜ。
I would say take it as a hint to not play blackjack with them, especially if anything's actually on the line.
思うのだけど、結局のところ、インフィニティーズだって同じじゃない？確かに、ステルスという能力は侮れないわ。でも、彼らだけ段数を優遇してもらっているわけじゃないし、小隊の機体数が多いわけでもない。
まあ、確かにステラの言う通り、36ミリが命中すれば、ラプターだってぶっ壊れるのは間違いねえし、連中だって人間だ。操縦ミスすることもあるかもしれない。
So it sounds like we've skipped ahead a little bit and maybe gotten further along in the blue flag, but the Infinities are still obviously absolutely dominating.
グラーフ小隊だって腕は悪くなかった。やっぱさ、認めたくないんだけど、噂で聞いてた通り、いや、それ以上に強い。正直な話、ブルーフラッグでは有志会戦闘が多いから、ステルスって言っても大したアドバンテージにはならないと思ってた。
You know, I bet you it doesn't. What it probably is that they're just so used to like using their sensors as like it's almost like a function of their peripheral vision. It's almost like it's built into them. It's like when you drive a car, it's really interesting because like you can kind of feel out the car when you're in the passenger seat, but when you're in the driver's seat, you almost feel like you're connected to the car, and like you feel like at least I feel like the tremors of the engine, and I can often tell when something's a little off before I can really like articulate why. I just get the feeling like it doesn't feel like it's like catching at the right times, or it feels like there's like a kind of like a shake to it, or the steering wheel just isn't quite like responding like it was. And I think those are just these little peripheries that just come with, you know, being really good and being really familiar with something, including a machine. And so you get used to all these subtle cues and these these reading the screen readouts. Same with like playing a video game, like an active one, like where it's a lot about timing and like trying to survive, like I don't know, like a Souls-like game or Armored Core 6, you know, something like that, like where you have to kind of be taking in a bunch of information all at once. You have to be like watching for certain tells and trying to like predict the movements of your enemy, and it becomes like second nature. So if you suddenly deprive a portion of like what you're used to for sussing out like your feelings about your flying your mech, it really probably has a very disconcerting effect on you, if anything else. So yeah, maybe in the practical sense, like the brightly lit arena, the shape and style of the arena, and the fact that you know exactly how many people you're facing and where they're starting, that should give you a pretty distinctive like advantage compared to an actual like fight with an enemy like in the raptor that can be very stealthy. But then when your own devices are not confirming things that you can see, or they are, you have suspicions and your gut tells you like, oh, I think they're going to be around here, but like you have no instrumentation to back it up, you start to second guess yourself, you start to worry, you start to build like a panic in your mind. I imagine that's just putting people on the back foot, and that's enough to usually win.
格闘戦に持ち込めば負ける気しないけど、どうやったら懐に潜り込めるか見当つかない。ムカつくけどね。
だからユイ姫は統一中華戦線にそれを試させるんだろ。ステラが言うように同じ条件で、しかもユウヤの作戦を取るならいい勝負になるかもしれねえぞ。
Okay, so I wonder what his plan is. And maybe they're gonna keep it secret till we actually do it.
すべてはそいつを拝見してからにしようじゃねえか。
Alright, that's right, we're Lil Bao Feng, we're kind of using them as test dummies a bit.
でもあれだけの準備でいけるのかしら。
I share your concerns. Honestly, I had my doubts the supplemental armor will be enough to withstand the first barrage, but I guess you go to war with the plans you have.
私もあいつらはそんなに甘くないって思うな。
いずれにせよ、バオフェン正体との対戦は注目だよな。俺としちゃ、ユウヤの女には期待してるんだけどね。
Hey.
誰の女だよ。
She isn't anyone's better half.
おお、怖っ。
でもあのバカ女の実力は少しは認めてやるさ。データ取りの役には取ってくれんじゃないの？
I still like her. I still think she's great. Like, she still might take, almost maybe out of stubbornness, she might take the crown of my favorite character. But mostly because I know that most people are gonna think I'm crazy.
速いし変則的な軌道も評価できる。ムカつく女だけど、戦術機の扱いに関しては悪くないね。
So in her own way, Teresa's actually respects Lieutenant Yui. I get where she's coming from. Fought that savage seaweed myself, and she's literally put me through the ringer.
グラフ正体は最初の奇襲でやられてしまったようなものだから。そこさえしのげれば番狂わせもあるかもね。
I'd like to hope so. No way. I just can't see the Infinities losing to Bao Feng. The 65th Combat Training Battalion and the Raptors' reputation weren't built on simple hype. Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face, and when you're up against people like Sharon or Leon, you better expect lefts and rights landing in plenty.
結局は配られた手札で勝負するしかねえんだよな。
I mean, true. Yeah, that about sums it up.
そういやユウヤ、お前ユイ姫となんか進展したのか？そこはかとなく怪しい感じが。
I talked about this like in the comments section. It's like everyone knows that there's like, at least on her side, that she has an affection for him. Like everyone knows. It's not hard to figure out. They've all figured out, but he still was like, over his head. Like, so he's saying like, hey, how are things going? I have a feeling things have been heating up. He's gonna be like, what are you talking about? Definite progress. I have no idea what you're driving at. No, define progress. Define progress. I have no idea what you're driving at. See, he's just,
またまた。
あら？でも二人とも名前で呼び合ってなかった？
それだよそれ。ほれほれ、ユイって呼んでみ。ユイ。
nothing strange about me calling a fellow member of our team by her first name, is there? Even Teresa and Stella greet each other that way.
お前って本当に分かってねえな。
Agreed.
昔っからこういうやつなんですよ、ミスタージアコーザ。
Why the heck are you two busting my balls right now? What the heck did I do?
それにしてもユウヤ、本当に筋金入りね。
Yeah, trust me. He doesn't even know how to crack himself. Huh?
お、はいはいはい、出ますよ。さて、ご会長と行きますか。よし、カーテンを上げてくれ。
Ooh, what's this?
そうよ。外装の赤色の部分を白に塗り替えて、その他は2番機の予備と交換しただけなんだがな。
I'm already a big
こ
fan
れ
of
だけでも
paint.
結構変わるもんだろ。
White and blue looks, in my opinion, much better than white and red. Oh, look at this thing.
機体にかかるストレスも一目で判断できるし、まさに実験機ってとこだよな。
Interesting.
へえ、 こりゃべっぴんさんに仕上がったな。
美しい機体ね。まるで白亜の心臓みたい。
Interesting. The torso looks really different. What did they do to it?
確かにそんな感じにも見えるかもね。でも、私の苦手の方が強そうだけどな。
I don't know. I like this one a lot. This is where it starts. This is where it starts, partner. We have a date with destiny, and the way there runs through the infinities. But no matter, we'll beat them and everyone who stands in our way. Winning is all that matters. It's the only thing we can do to prove our worth. Won't be easy, but the rest of Argus has our backs. As well as someone really willing to get her hands dirty if that's what it takes to finish the Shiranui second. There she is. Japan and America, Yui and me. The Shiranui second is the thread that binds us together. We're the same. As for her sake, I'll take the Shiranui second all the way to the top.
おい、ゆうや。お前またゆい姫を置かずに妄想にふけってんのか？健康なやつだな。タリサに頼めばいいのに。
Shut up, VG. VG, you stupid mother trucker. Get your head out of the gutter.
バカかてめえは。
そういえばジアコーザさん、一つ報告したいことがあるんですよ。
なんだね、ロボ。
お前の94セカンド、ユーコン最強にしてやるぜ。
Ooh.
はあ？
って、ユイ姫に向かって誓ってましたぜ。ユーヤ君が。
I was like, what are you talking about? Get it! November 18th. Here we go. We're just cruising through the month. Oh, here we go. This video is gonna get claimed again. They always claim it when it's got the animation. Not good. Oh, there they are.
左下体部走行被弾塗装剥離左前腕部外縁被弾消破
この距離なら食い破ってやる。いける。
Oh, oh. Oh my gosh, I got her.
バオフェン1胸部コクピットブロック被弾致命的損傷により大破と認定状況終了前期作戦開始位置まで後退せよ
That was her element and they just destroyed her.
そんな罠か援護射撃早すぎるわよ。あと
Dang.
コンマ2秒足りなかった。全部計算づくか。ああ、やられちゃったか。まあ結構いいデータが取れたからとりあえずはいいか。
Oh man, that's gonna suck though. I mean, she's got her pride. That's her favorite thing, so that's gonna hurt.
がっかりするのかな、それとも畜生。
編集終了までに要した時間は12分38秒。
Go fetch me.
我々が
Oh,
いずれ対峙しなければならないこの手強い相手からどうやって勝利をもぎ取るか。貴様らの忌憚のない意見を聞こうか。
right. Well, this is gonna be fun. I don't know.
やっぱりさ、ドッグファイトするしかねえだろ。で、どうやって接近するかだな。
All right, what we learned from the Bao Feng flight is the fact that they understand that people are gunning for a closer range. For less tactical, less like skilled teams, the long range capabilities are more than enough for them to sweep it. For the more skilled teams, they have to have like a backup plan. So what they did is they set up a trap. They essentially allowed them, kind of like harassed them, but like allowed them to get close enough to where they felt they could make a strike. But then they, like, as soon as she pulled herself out of cover, they were just there and they were pretty much already striking once she appeared. So, I mean, it's like what like Obi-Wan said, like, there's a trap. What's the thing you do next? You spring the trap. I think it's not ideal, but I don't think we get to have the choice and luxury of the battlefield here because they can engage us comfortably long range, and it looks like they've got a pretty solid like reckoning capability and package for dealing with the close range attack. I think our close range is still our best option though, so we allow some similar tactics, possibly allow ourselves to get brought into a very similar trap and circumstances, but then we have to somehow turn the tables on them. How do we do that? It's really interesting to try and consider because I'm not too sure. Because trying to turn a trap into trying to trap a trap is really, really risky. Because again, you're like the enemy gets to choose the battlefield or gets to choose like the layout for the trap itself. It doesn't mean it's impossible, but it means that you're at a distinct disadvantage from the get-go, and you're putting yourself in a position where they've designed themselves to have an advantage. Being able to come out of that and using that somehow against them without knowing exactly how the trap works is pretty impossible. I mean, maybe if you're thinking on your feet and you've got a really good skill and a lot of luck, you could make it happen, but I'm just not sure how you'd turn that situation around. That's maybe you could somehow get them to lose track of one of your team members. So it looks like the trap is set for one, like Yuuya. So he bursts out, they see him coming, they try and trap him, and then from behind, Stella or somebody snipes them like while their back is turned. That'd be the best guess I can think of, kind of a scissor, like a long short range scissor, because then if they see everyone closing in for short range combat, they might not expect for a portion of that team to set up for a long range assault. Okay, that would be, off the top of my head, that's probably the best combo plan I can think of, is like literally fall into the trap, throwing Yuuya into like essentially the jaws of what happened before, all the while letting some of the smaller TSF, like the quieter ones, specifically Stella, but maybe VG as well, get set up to a position where it looks like they're being corralled and harassed, like to the point where they're like being pushed away from reinforcing positions, but instead they're actually being set up for long-range tactical deployment.
バオフェンの作以外で何ができるか考えるしかねえな。
少しは真面目に考えろ。そんなんだからドイツ人から今度はイタリア抜きでとか言われるんだよ。
It's unfortunately true that World Wars 1 and 2 kind of, Italy was kind of the charm. It was like they always ended up being on the wrong side.
な、タリサてめえ、人が気にしていることを。
落ち着きなさい、二人とも。じゃれてる場合じゃないのよ。でも本当に。考えれば考えるほど隙がないって感じね。
Dang, Stella's the brains of the team, and even she's having trouble coming up with a countermeasure to stealth. Bao Feng's strategy failed to produce anything of note. If we go in with a similar strategy, we'll be blown out by the Infinities.
ユウヤ、お前ラプターに乗ってたんだろ？極秘の弱点とかないのかよ。
Yeah, it actually has a like a small ventilation port. It's about 3 meters wide, and if you fire a rocket right into it, it blows up the TSF. You realize my job was to make sure it didn't.
お前のせいか。
学んだら上位。貴様の見解を続けてみろ。
ジャンジ10型だったら懐に潜り込めるんじゃないかと思ったんだけどな。
そうだな。誰かさんみたくちっこいし、ちょろちょろ動く機体だからな。
Okay, VG, you gotta tone it down a bit.
このカバ遊んでる場合じゃねえんだよ。なあ、ユウヤ、ラプターって近接戦闘が苦手なんだよな。
Well, here's the thing, like, it's funny because, like, again, I kind of did a little more. I've done some more research into the real like jet fighter, the Raptor 22. And the thing is, I put a pinned comment last week because I did get some facts wrong about it. So like, keep in mind I'm still learning a lot, but it's kind of the idea is like, yeah, it's maximizes its capabilities in long range like weaponry that's like that's very difficult to counteract, but that doesn't mean it's a slouch in dogfighting. In fact, it's still probably one of the best dogfighters in the world. The problem is that was the secondary condition. So it's like it's still top dog in a field that wasn't its focus of design. I wouldn't say it's a glaring weakness, but there's a reason why people keep thinking that. Before the U.S. Army went with the Raptor, about 10 years ago or so, it was losing to the YF-23 Black Widow, its competitor machine, in close quarters combat exercises. Somehow the story took a life of its own and the image is stuck. But the military would be stupid enough to send a machine with potential to embarrass itself out to the world. Remember, the Raptor EMD managed to defeat the Combat Instruction Battalion in a dogfight, and these guys were flying the 2 squadrons worth of Strike Eagles versus just 2 Raptors.
それこそ噂なんじゃねえの？よくあんじゃん。苦手だから嘘ついて箔をつけておくって作戦。
Unfortunately, one of the things about having like one of the largest military budgets in the world is that you don't have to resort to propaganda. Like, it's pretty clear, especially for like Russia, propaganda is very much a part of like trying to uphold the idea of like a very lofty, powerful military. China, I would argue, is very similar, but there seems to be a bit more substance behind China's like stuff, at least in the past decade. The United States, we throw so much money at our military budget, we don't have to worry about it because not only are we pretty sure we know about all the specs of everything that's out there, that's our competition, but we also make sure that, you know, that's part of the idea why the Americans are here. Remember, it's like, because the Raptor 22 is essentially finished development. They're here to show it off. They don't want to hide it. They want to flaunt it. And everyone's like, all excited, like, oh, they're going to give us all our GU secrets. It's like, no, that's the point. They're so confident now that they know that by the time people catch up, based on the designs and the builds they have for the Raptor 22, they're going to continue to improve the Raptor in pace with it in counteracting their own countermeasures because they understand them intrinsically, but then they're going to continue to develop the next line of like TSF that's going to be even better. And it's like, so like the Americans have nothing to worry about in that regard. It's not about like an urban legend. They don't have to have urban legends. They don't have to make up stories. I mean, sure, like they might like hide some of the more embarrassing events, but overall, they don't have to hide stuff. Why would you lie if you know the truth will come out soon enough? And besides, I took part in the operation in question. I wasn't flying with the Combat Instructor Corps, though.
いよいよ打つ手なしかよ。
つまり、ラプターに弱点はない。だから我々の敗北も理にかなっている。
No.
貴様はそう言いたいのか？
I would say first of all, that's a bold thing to say, but I guess she's just trying to get him to like stop being so like brick wallish. But I would also argue that, look, even if you have a perfect machine, there's always one critical weakness no matter what you do, and that's human weakness of the pilot. You can have some of the best pilots in there for sure. They're going to be really tough, but they always have weaknesses because they're people. People have weaknesses. That would be my thing. If they're like, look, I'm sure it has weaknesses, but even if we can't figure out a way to find or exploit them, there's always the people. I don't mean to be a downer, but right now, that's how it looks to me. Unless something changes, Argus will suffer the same fate as the Bao Feng. They'll take us down before we can even get close.
ブリッジ少尉、貴様の見解は理解できるが、機関論だけなら誰でも言える。必要なのは打開策だ。それが出せない英士は、我々が求める能力に足りていないと言わざるを得ない。
Holy crap, Yui, calm down.
現状では無理です。仕方のないことです。か？テストパイロットという職業は随分と楽な仕事だな。
I think she's trying to rile him up because I'm getting riled up and I'm not even him. You're a test pilot too. Watch it.
だから現状の報告のみで済ますか。情けない。
Yeah, it's play right out of old Yui's book. Yifei's plan was doomed from the start. She's doing the reverse psychology bullcrap to fire us up.
だいたい都合が良すぎるんだよ。だったらステルスでもつけてくれっての。こっちは不利な状況でやってんだ。少しはユウヤの気持ち考えろよ。
You know as well as I do that even if we did decide to incorporate stealth into the design, which would honestly require an entire rework of the entire outer structure, let alone, and we'd have to get like the paint, which is obviously like going to be pretty, like, probably still kept very secret as much as possible. It's kind of just like she's like Teresa's not being fair here, but we're trying to spare it. And we can't cheat, right? Like we can't try and sneak some kind of like detector or something on one of the TSFs, right? Like that would be absolute blatant cheating. That wouldn't be fair. Defeat the point.
知らぬ2型は対ベータ兵器だ。ステルスを採用せよという貴様の提案は無意味だ。一向に値しない。
なんだよ、どうしても勝たせたいならそこまでしろよ。こっちは全力でやってんだよ。
なんだろ少尉高村中尉、部下の非礼をお詫びする。なんだろ少尉、貴様とは後でミーティングだ。覚悟しておけ。
Yeah.
少しよろしいでしょうか。
Oh, hello, you.
よろしくお願いします。
先ほど聞き捨てならない言葉がありましたので、メーカー側からこれを否定させていただきます。カタログスペックが必ずしも正しいとは限りませんが、インフィニティーズの演習データと私たちのデータを比較してみた場合、いくつかの項目においては94セカンドやアクティブイーグルの方が数値が勝っているのです。
Okay.
ですから視界の利く近接戦闘で押し込まれる場合、それは機体のせいではなく、
Okay.
登場している兵士の技量によるものになります。
So he's pointing out that like if you can eliminate the advantage that the stealth provides, the Shiranui second and the Raptor have very similar specs in speed and just combat engagement capabilities in general. So then it evens the playing field if you can somehow eliminate the stealth mechanic.
だからさ、言ってるじゃねえか。接近できればいくらでもボコってやるって。それができないのが問題なんだろ。
全焼できねえのはあれですけど、性能比較ができれば開発計画としては良しとするのもありなんじゃないですか。もともとブルーフラッグはそのためのものでしょ。
それは違う。我々は XFJ 計画は決して負けるわけにはいかないのだ。
Right, good reminder. I forgot that there was a lot on the line because Japan, especially the higher ups in Japan, are very much like, they're like really wanting to just pull the cord on this whole thing. Oh, now I see what you're trying to do. Dang. If people call me awkward, it's got to be a better way of pumping us up for a fight than making yourself the bad guy, but oh well, that's just like her. I think there's been a misunderstanding, Lieutenant Takamura. I never meant to imply the defeat was foregone conclusion. I'll do what it takes to beat them. I couldn't sleep at night otherwise. And I'm darn sure everyone here shares that sentiment.
実際にどうしたらいいとユウヤは思うの？
The Infinities seem invincible because thus far we've only been looking at the big picture. What we need to do instead is to treat this as a problem with distinct component parts and look at them in isolation. As they say, the devil's in the details. Oh my gosh, I just had a thought. Okay. One of the books I've enjoyed the most, which is ironic because like most of the other books by Orson Scott Card are pretty mid and terrible, but Ender's Game is a really good book, and one of the things that it really highlights a lot is strategy and the whole battle school that they have set up, which is a really fantastic arc about combat, and they do combat drills, and they simulate spaceflight by having like fights in 0G, and they have these suits that when you hit them with like these like laser guns, like when the lasers hit the suits lock up, and so when you're locked up, you're essentially out, right? You're supposed to be like a husk of a spaceship left in space. And in the game, there are two ways you win. You either eliminate the other team, or you have 5 members still standing at a point where they can get to the opponent's gate. They can like each like kind of put their each like individual pilot can put a hand on buttons around 4 corners of the door, and then one person goes through the door into enemy territory. You claim the win. It's kind of like capture the flag in that way. And most games always end up being these beatdown matches where it's just elimination, because it's just so efficient, and like it's really risky to try and go for the door victory when you have to kind of be exposed because the door never has really good protection. And so what Ender did is he said, look, like we have to win, but we don't have to, but when the advantage is when we have a disadvantage, like we don't have to win, like why do we have to play by their rules? Like they even started stacking battles against him because he kept winning so spectacularly, because he was really, really good at thinking outside the box and really examining things from perspectives that people wouldn't normally consider. And so his ultimate plan, when faced with like overwhelming force that he could not beat, like it was like to the point where they were facing 2 teams at once. So they were outnumbered 2-1. The other teams were like, they changed the battle start time and told the other teams first. And so Ender's team showed up to the training exercise late. So They entered the battlefield after their opponents got set up, and the way the battle had been set up was that right outside the door that they would leave out of was just a block, and it was the only block. So it was a big wide space between them and the defenses that were set up pre-set up by the opposing forces on the other side. Essentially, the battle school at this point was just determined to make him lose because he kept winning so overtly, so incredibly. It became trivial to win because he just was winning everything. And so his strategy was to say, screw it, we can't win with numbers in traditional warfare. We have to play it dirty. We have to go for an alternative win con. And what's the alternative win con? The alternative win con was the door access. And so he purposely built a structure out of the bodies of his own troops where they made essentially a capsule to keep like a small pack of people inside safe and protected, and they made walls out of their own bodies and launched themselves at the enemy and fired from the inside, tried to cause as much havoc as possible, knowing that they were going to be obliterated. But the reason why is that they protected a core of 5 specific people, and then when they broke apart, those 5 took advantage of the chaos of them being spreading out, attacking, and eventually just falling. Just run, activate the door, and push someone through. They lost almost everybody on their team, but they won on the technicality. So why does this matter? We know that the conditions of victory aren't always like wipeouts. It's time-based and damage-based. So what if we, instead of trying to go into this like we go every other time, we're trying to eliminate, we try and just destroy everything as possible. What if we make it so that we do more damage than they do to us? What if that's our only goal, is we allow the battle to stretch out as long as possible, and instead of trying to engage them actively, we simply try to set up so that we do more damage to them than they do to us and keep away from them until the time is called. Then we win by default. That might be the best strategy here because it's the only one that no one's tried, and it's the only one that they might not actually see coming. The way I see it, there's 2 main problems: how to limit the damage from the fire barrage and how to get close to the raptors. Did I read the last thing? Yeah, definitely. Okay, I did. I was I got so long-winded, I forgot. So, there's 2 main problems: how to limit damage from the first barrage and how to get close to the raptors. Again, I'm not getting cold feet or anything, but these guys are real pros. Yeah, they have 0 actual combat experience, just like me until a few months ago, but they've run enough AH drills to make up the difference.
お前も AH 演習はうまかったしな。
Yeah, that's a fair point. We really showed them in that first one. I don't mean to brag, but it's cold hard fact I was an ace in my former unit in that area. Isn't that right, Vincent?
ああ、Yuuyaの優秀さは俺が保証しますよ。なんせトップガンズトップですからね。
Yep, the best brags are when other people are vouching for you. But even so, I'm not afraid to admit that if my partner had been anyone else but Stella during that mock battle when we ran that day I arrived, I would have been assumed shot down, no question about it.
そうね。あの時のタリサの軌道には私も驚いたわ。
いやー、本当にそうだよな。俺もこれはタリサ一人で全部やっちまうんじゃねえかって思って、連携を控えたくらいだったしな。
お前がちゃんとやってれば勝てたんだよ。
だってよ、手出すなって言われたしな。俺はリーダーの言いつけに従っただけなんだぜ。
Right, right.
お前は黙ってろ BG。 ユーヤもユーヤだ。わざとらしいんだよ。いいよもう。気持ちの切り替えはできてるってばよ。
I mean, maybe she's a little more humble, but has she learned? Anyway, here's the deal. The Infinities are real pros, but I'm confident I'm a better pilot than any of them. And the Raptors are a great machine, but our TSFs can put up a good fight. In terms of maneuverability, Argus TSFs do not fall behind the Raptor EMD. Isn't that right, Mr. Heinemann?
ええ。それは私が保証しましょう。
And there you have it. Lieutenant, the XFJ program's TSFs can go blow for blow with a Raptor in a dogfight. Pilot skill is the different issue, but I'm darn sure we have the edge there.
こっちの方が完全に上だよ。
I don't know if I'm laughing at that one. Yeah, this is the vibe you were shooting for. Anyway, let's take on the problem number 1, how to survive first contact. A briefing where we just share our feelings with the group is a complete waste of time. In that sense, I appreciate the commander letting us talk it out. He trusts we'll come up with something concrete without railroading the discussion. Shows the commander's an old hand. He keeps us motivated while taking Yui's feelings into account. As the project leader, Yui must be being pulled in like a million different directions at once. To tell you guys the truth, I think Bao Feng's idea was roughly in the ballpark. Teresa, what do you think?
グラーブスは密集してたから袋叩きにあって、バオフェンの奴らは散らばっていたから逆に格好撃破された。どっちもどっちだけど。
一機の損失は覚悟で行くって作戦か。でもよ、今回みたく向こうも分散してたらどうなんだよ。
全員まとめて落とされるよかマシだろ。それにバオフェンと違って、こっちは対マン勝負なら負けないんだからよ。
But what's to say it would keep 1-on-1? Like that's the thing. Like they'd have to, they could have a counter for the fact that they might be doing whatever it takes to keep themselves from being isolated. I don't know a whole lot about actual like on the ground troop tactics, but the impression I've always had is that one of the like tenets of US like missions is that you never go alone, you never go solo. You at least have squads, like sub squads of 2, and usually you stay in your main squads of like I think it's like 4, 6, or 8. Like it's like almost doctrine because it's so important to make sure you don't get isolated. 1-on-1 battles with full visibility. That's the best case scenario for us.
グラフ小隊との戦闘を見せた後、全く違うプランでバオフェン小隊とやったのを見れば、何かまだ手を残しているって考えるのが自然よね。
You have to bet they're not taking anyone like for granted. They probably are observing every team they go up against and coming up with a strategy for each and every one. So they're going to look at what we're good at, and they're going to look at our TSF skills and skill sets and the data that Heineman's talking about, and they're going to come to very similar conclusions, I think.
いや、あれはバオフェン小隊が先に捕捉されてたって考える方が自然だぜ。連中はそれから参加したんじゃねえの？
Interesting point.
なんでそう思うんだよ。
無意味な参加なんて戦力分散以外の何者でもねえだろ。いくらラプターが速いって言ったってリスクが大きいと思うぜ。
Yeah, that's a death risk.
さすがに。
Oh, I clicked early, sorry.
参加して潜伏しているという予想は外れてたのかしら。
Ah.
インフィニティーズにしても電波観測に対するステルスはできても無音というわけでもないし、排熱を完全にマスクできているわけでもない。
Right.
発見される可能性は必ずあるわ。
They probably feel it's foolish to put all their eggs in that basket.
だから味方の支援ができるギリギリのラインで待ちの姿勢をとっている可能性が高いと思う。それこそクモの巣みたいにね。
Right, okay.
その網に参加したバオフェン小隊が引っかかった。そしてそのケースを想定していたインフィニティーズは通常の包囲殲滅ではなく格好撃破に打って出た。
Alright, so we're looking like we're on the right track here.
我々はバオフェン小隊に勝利するために頭を潰したが、彼らは逆に胴体を潰すことを優先した。いずれにせよ、秘匿性能は高いが、有志界内なら問題はない。そう考えると、初撃回避に集中していたバオフェンズの考え方は悪くはない。
Gotcha.
これで対策の方向性は絞り込めたな。
It's nice that we were able to kind of get them like on our side of like, we gotta try and take these guys down. Called it. Boss Ibrahim is the real deal. He knows where to go, where the discussion would end up right from the get-go.
で、レーダーに捉えたと思ったら、すぐにロストするの。あれには本当に参ったわよ。あのステルスってのは、常識外れにも程があるわ。
Thank you, Yifei. I appreciate it.
あ、そうだ。高村中に伝えといてちょうだい。機関の助言された作戦には一部修正の余地あり。何か別の手を考えなさいってね。
You know it's bad. You know it's bad when the MC is so dense. He's literally being used to parrot like jibing, like relationship advice about him between two characters. They're using him as the messenger of gloating and giving advice about dating the messenger. And it's just gonna go right over his head. Sure, I'll pass it on. Yeah, she isn't stupid. Lieutenant Chui knew Bao Feng was a guinea pig against the Infinities all along, but she went with Yui's plan because she decided there was a chance it could work. Oh, I guess he's assuming it's the plan. Maybe I'm assuming it's not the plan, but I could have sworn that it was pretty obvious that what the results were of this little test of ours. She's prideful and a sore loser, but a forceful and skillful as she is, she doesn't have a malicious or underhanded bone in her body. Moreover, she's an inspiring commander. You don't keep yourself alive against 4 raptors for over 5 minutes unless you have some serious skill. The frustration must be eating her inside.
問題になるのは高速機動と部隊連携ね。実際のところステルス性能はそれを活かすための補助機能に過ぎないんじゃないかしら。
Yeah, exactly. For a dogfight, the stealth is like, it's great, it's good, but especially in a front-on-front fight where you know what you're fighting, it's supplementary. Like, you can't count on that stealth because like the stealth would be fantastic for setting up ambushes or like getting a quick strike in when you're not expected. Like, that's where the stealth is really insane. But if you know what you're watching for and you've got your eyes peeled, the stealth is only partially useful and thus not what you'd want to lean your entire strategy on. I see. So it comes down to defending against their preemptive strike and then isolating the individual machines from the rest while pinning them in place at the same time. Yeah, good luck doing that with the same number of TSFs too. Ugh.
そうなるわね。追加走行は結構いいアイディアだったとは思うけど、後が続かなかったわ。
And in the end, it might have made you too slow.
ほんと残念。私の予定だと10分ぐらいで完勝するはずだったのにね。
I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was. You're like a freaking bulldozer sometimes, you know that?
当たり前でしょ。こっちは仲間内で戦争しようって国で育ってるのよ。こんなご時世で、未だに合成食材の味を知らないような国の連中に負けるわけにはいかないのよ。
Yeah, that would be frustrating. I know what you're saying, but civil unrest? We've got much bigger problems nowadays.
どうかしらね。それはユウヤもよくわかってることなんじゃないの？統一中華戦線にしろ国連にしろ、ベータの侵略で仕方なくくっついてるだけなんだから、いつどうなるかなんて誰にもわかんないわよ。
You know, I'm glad someone's willing to say it out loud, because everyone's like speaking behind their hands, being like, oh, this is totally what's going on. We've been talking about this whole time, and we got such a great look at it with the day after. It was just a perfect example of exactly what they were building toward. I think it would have been better to play this first, and then got the payoff of the day after, but I don't get to choose what order things were translated in.
それにしてもあそこまであっさり負けるとは思わなかった。
You win some, you lose some. There's always several variables at play, and you can't expect the stars to align every single time. But if you lost, wouldn't you say the outcome wasn't too shabby? But even if you lost, wouldn't you say the outcome wasn't too shabby? You collected plenty of data on the Americans' new TSFs, and its stealth capabilities, and you proved that you can hang in there against their number 1 pilots.
ああ、なるほどね。
With the competitive streak of hers, she was never going to be satisfied with the result, but the Bao Feng support personnel and higher-ups must have been creaming their pants with all the fancy data coming in every passing minute. It's nothing short of amazing that you were able to hold your own against 4 machines with only 5 minutes. For over 5 minutes.
でしょ？ユウヤなら分かってくれるって思ってたわ。
Of course he would. We're going to use their battle records as reference. Teresa's obsessed with them, actually. She's been glued to the monitor comparing your numbers to her own.
ありがとう。それでさ、例の約束なんだけど、結局守れなかったわ。
Man, she really took that personal. Like, I mean, it makes sense. It totally is in her personality, but still, it's like, it almost hurts to hear that, like, actual pain in her voice there. Promise? What Oh, right. Yeah, I don't really care about that. Besides, your match has given us a lot of useful data. I couldn't ask for more.
気にしてないか。よかった。ユウヤがすごい落ち込んでたらどうしようかって思ってたのよ。そうね。ユウヤが気にしてないんだったら別にいいわよね。
Okay. You sound a little hysterical, though. Are you just saying that, or are you genuinely happy? I'm not sure. Hey, I'm right next to you. Will you try again in an indoor voice so I can... Wait a second. Are those tears? Oh gosh.
ちょっとユウヤ、女の顔をジロジロ見るなんてデリカシーがないわよ。
Dude, are you crying?
ごめん。ユウヤなら避けられると思ってたから、つい本気で撃っちゃった。
She's like, how dare you, solar plexus!
おい、ユウヤ、大丈夫か？
しっかりしてユウヤ。傷は深いわよ。
What, a wound?
何やってんの？
何って、なあ。
What?
ああ、お茶してるんなら、俺たちも混ぜてもらおうかと。
Okay. You guys are acting weird.
はあ？何それ？はあ 覗いてたのは気づいていたからいいんだけどね。それより、
Oh, we're
うっ
out.
かりユウヤに寸慶入れちゃったんだけど、
We're
ちょっと
flat.
手伝ってくれない？
We're flat out out. Okay, so were they watching just to see what would happen? Or were they actually concerned something was gonna happen?
待てよ。ユウヤに礼を言っとけよ。お前も気づいてるんだろ？ユウヤの真意にさ。
何のこと？
ユウヤは不愛想で鈍感だけど、根は優しいやつなんだよ。あんたが落ち込んでいると思ったからこそ普段通りの態度だったんだし、今の攻撃もわざと食らったんだよ。
I think that's a great sentiment, and it's clear Teresa thinks so highly of Yuuya, but I don't think he just accepted that punch, especially one that was able to knock him cold. I think he genuinely was shocked by what happened there.
やるな、ゆうや。やっぱり俺の薫陶のおかげだな。
どうなんだよ。黙ってちゃわかんないぞ。
そうね。あんたの言う通りだわ。やっぱり私の夫にふさわしい男ね。
Oh boy. Everyone's like, what?
ありがとう、ユウヤ。
Mm.
悪いけど、あんたに礼は言わないわよ。
いらないよ、そんなもんは。お前に礼なんて言われちゃ、全身にサブイボが立っちまうね。
Mm-hmm.
そんなことより、インフィニティーズとの演習、見せてもらったよ。正直。
どうせ見直すんなら今度にしてちょうだい。羽をむしられて、惨めったらしく地べたに這いつくばるラプター見せてあげるから。
I like that.
おい、中華オナー。
何よ、チワワ。
今度私とやるときは覚悟しとけよ。そんな舐めた口、聞けなくしてやるからよ。
せいぜい努力を続けることね。何回やろうが、私の口を封じることなんかできないと思うけど。はっ！
上等だね。そん時は土下座でも何でもしてやるよ。
そんなものより、私を満足させる強さを見せてちょうだい。
Yeah. There we go. What a pair. Man, Teresa and her big mouth. I just spoke to Yifei without thinking. There was no deeper meaning, honest. But now that the little gremlin's made such a big deal out of this whole thing, it's too late to get up and come clean. Oh, so he's not even unconscious, he's pretending.
立派だったぞ、ゆうや。無茶しやがって。
Thanks, Vincent. This butthole. Wait till I'm healed up. I'm gonna kick his butt for sure. So, he's definitely hurting, though.
俺はあいつらに勝ちたい。そのためなら何でもできる。お前こそ何か勘違いしているかもしれないが、こんなところで負けて当然だなんて。
I wish I sounded as cool as he
一言も言っ
does.
ちゃいないぜ。
Like, that voice, that baritone, just like, ooh, it sounds good.
わかってくれたんだ。
お前だけを戦わせない。俺も英士として全力を尽くす。どんなことをしようが、誰にどう思われようが、お前の知らないを最高の戦術機にしてみせる。
Honestly, I get it. I get why she's swooning for him. Like, he's an idiot. He's like the prince of all idiots. But man, that determination, that smolder, like, whew.
お前が指揮官として、俺たちの後ろでふんぞり返っていられるようにな。
ふぬけている場合ではない。一刻も早く、対ステルス戦術を立案しなくては。
I don't know if there's much you can do, but you do what you gotta do, girl.
プロミネンス計画は第2世代機回収が主体だ。第3世代機回収を進めている我々が演習で遅れを取るわけにはいかないだろう。この程度の障害なら問題なく切り抜けてくれるものと信じている。簡単ではない条件かもしれんが、何としてでもクリアしてくれ。
Because I remember that conversation, it was him kind of essentially saying, like, you're gonna have to be on your own now.
負けられない。負けるわけにはいかないのだ。
お前の知らぬよ。最高の戦術機にしてみせる。
高村注意。
Oh, hi. Interesting.
ビアチェノは少尉。すまないが、時間をもらえないか。
I wonder if she's gonna give us some insight into what she thinks would help us defeat the Infinities.
ああ、別に構わないが、どうしたのだ。ユーヤ・ブリッジスについて。 聞かせてもらいたい。
Okay.
何？また、シェスチナ少尉に関してのことなのか？以前にも少尉から似たような質問をされたのでな。違っていたのならすまない。
いや、高村中尉の指摘は正しい。そうだ。
Okay. Okay.
彼には何か、他の人間とは違う何かがあるように思えるのだ。私は、それを知りたい。
Man.
イーニャのためにも。
This guy. Literally every girl on the base.
高村中尉、任務があるのならそちらを優先してくれ。また改める。
いやいや。
ああ、大丈夫だ。少し考え事をしていただけだ。それで、シェスチナ少尉の興味を引く原因がユーヤにあるということだな。確か前にも本人に直接聞いた方がいいと言った覚えがあるのだが。
True, but Inya's not much for vocalizing her thoughts. She's just kind of impulsive, and Yuuya's gonna. It's like talking to a mousetrap. It's great at its job, but that's about it.
まだ答えをもらっていない。
ビャチノ少尉？
私には理解できないのだ。彼は何者で。私は。
ビャチェノワ少尉、交換条件を出してもいいか？
交換条件？
そうだ。私の質問に答えてほしい。それが、少尉の答えにもつながると思う。前置きしておくが、質問の意図が、少尉の名誉を傷つける類のものではないことを確約する。
Uh-huh.
わかった。あなたの質問に答えればよいのだね。
I like how she preluded it with like, this isn't to insult you or belittle you, okay? This is just a question that can help you figure this out.
グアドループで私たちが遭難した時のことだが。
ああ、覚えている。それがどうした？
I thought she might have forgotten that.
それで、漂着して2日目、少尉とブリッジスで水源の探査に出かけたな。
それも覚えている。水源を確保しようと探索したのだが、結局見つからなかった。
その時、何かあったのか？
何か？だから何も見つけられなかったのだが。
それではない。ブリッジスとの間に何かあったのかを聞いているんだ。
すまないが、注意の質問の意図がよくわからない。もう少し具体的に言ってもらえないか？
What a great pair they make. Yui is so proper. She has a hard time just expressing like anything regarding any form of intimacy whatsoever. Like even basic stuff like holding hands would be something she'd be like twiddling her thumbs about, you know? And then Cryska is just kind of just by the book, straight lace, no time for anything that like personal. So she might not even understand what intimacy is.
だから、ユーヤと少尉が抱き合っていたことだ。
あれは、体力を消耗していた私が、転倒しそうになったのを、ブリッジスが抱き留めて。
少尉？
いや、海のことを。そうだ。でも、
Oh no.
私は、抱き。
Oh no.
大丈夫か少尉？なんだか顔色が優れないぞ。
いや、大丈夫だ。注意の気のせいだ。
しかし、
問題ない。注意。こちらから申し出ておいて、心苦しいのだが、答えは次の機会でいいだろうか。
Is she waiting because she's having trouble recalling details and she wants to think about it? Or is that she doesn't even really know how to articulate her thoughts yet?
いや、それは構わないのだが、それよりも。
高村注意。忙しいところ時間を割いてもらったことに感謝する。では、私はこれで失礼する。
Cryska's like a leaf on the wind. There one minute and gone the next.
待ってくれ、少尉。もう少し話を。
注意は、 ユーヤと呼ぶのだな。
Oh, fetch.
え
Well, that's spicy. Cargo Terminal 3 or Traffic Control
どう
Center?
だここの作業にも少しは慣れたか
Ah, interesting. So there's going to be subterfuge, but we'll save that for next week. That was a good episode. That was fun. It was interesting. I definitely got to talk a lot in that one, but I think it was like uncharacteristically, it was all on topic. Tarkic? What was I going to say there? I'm just having a moment here. I was very excited about that. I still think personally there would be merit to my idea. I don't think it's what they're going to go for, or if they are, it's going to be something a little different, but I do wonder if that could be a viable strategy. What do you think about that? The idea, like, the trouble with the Raptor would be primarily that they are all about ranged combat, and thus somehow keeping them from being able to engage you and actually cause damage would be really difficult. But the battlefield is in a simulated or an actual, like, desolate, like, ruins of a city, and that provides a lot of like line of sight obstruction. So I feel like what you could try to do is force them to respond to you, but then you have to try and engage them in long range initially, and that could be disastrous too. But if the goal, like I said, like what about at least the core premise of like not trying to eliminate all the TSFs, but simply out damage them, win on the technicality. That could be the best way to try and secure a victory, because it would be an avenue of attack and an avenue of strategy that they probably wouldn't actually account for. Like, cause like the victory via damage seems to be like, kind of like, it's a way to kind of keep the matches short and have a definitive like victor when there's no total victory. Like when the circumstances don't allow a fight to the last TSF. Like the damage system works for that. So I think it would be a good idea, a stalled tactic, but we'll have to see. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being a part of the channel and being so supportive of my dreams and my enjoyment of this, of what I do, especially for the patrons and the members and the channel. Like, you guys are amazing. I don't deserve any of you, and I hope to continue making content in a way that makes you feel confident in what you're supporting, because it means the world to me. Hoping to get my new computer here soon. That'll be nice because we can actually like move forward with stuff. But you know, we'll get to that when we get to it. But for now, we'll have to wait. So thank you so much for being here today. Thank you so much for joining me on the channel, and I hope to see you all again soon. But until next video watching me, if you see me in next, I'll see you there.